All right, YouTube, this is Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit, back with another video on this Friday morning. We got to talk about Barack Obama today. Barack Obama comes out in defense of Kamala Harris and her losing a large percent of the black male vote. Now, they use Obama to scold black people for not supporting the Democratic Party, when he's a prime example himself of why we should never support the Democratic Party again. You voted for Obama based on identity politics, but Obama was only the president for the LGBT community and big business. So he comes out after his 8 years of doing nothing for black men, nothing. And he wants to chastise black men for their lack of support for Kamala, as if he's one of us. He doesn't realize we don't like the big mama persona that they have relegated to black women, to lead black men, to pose or to follow their train of identity politics. We're not going to do that. We're not going to vote against our own interests. We know that a vote for Kamala Harris will be the destruction of our communities and nuclear families right now. The only thing they're offering the black community is late-term termination of pregnancy, gender reassignment for children, open borders, and more inflation, more of Bidenomics. I think that sometimes you really think we're stupid. You think black men are stupid. You have elevated the black woman in the community to the point to where she believes that she is our leader and we should follow her and vote for a Hindu woman, an Indian, a Southeast Asian cosplaying as a black person who was in California being the biggest enemy in the judicial system to black men. You want us to vote for Tampon Tim, who made a mandate to put tampons in a boy's bathroom. You want black men to vote against the Bible, God, Jesus. You want us to vote for the democracy. And then you act as if there's some type of moral litmus test that Obama comes out and demonstrates with his record of doing nothing for us. It's insane. So I'm going to show you these two clips, and you can really see that the Democratic Party is unhinged at this point. They're out of touch with reality. They're losing, and the media is almost setting it up to make it look like they won so they can steal the election. They tried to take out Trump twice. They tried to jail him, and we still won't vote for the cosplaying chameleon. We're not going to vote for that cackling, laughing lunatic. The whole world sees that she is incompetent, unfit to be the president. Then you bring on Obama, who waved the LGBTQ flag from the White House. They think he was the first president to legalize same-sex marriages. Her claim to fame is she was one of the first to actually perform a wedding between the same sex. So who are these people that you want us to vote for? Who are these anti-Christian, anti-Christ people? Then they talking about the Muslim vote. There is no Muslim that would vote for a Democrat. What Muslim you know votes for late-term termination of pregnancy, gender reassignment? Nobody with any religious or spiritual inclination will vote for this party at this time. And it doesn't make a difference how many Magic Johnsons, Barack Obamas, D.L. Hughley's, Roland Martins, Joy Reids that you parade in front of us. We know that they're shields. We know that they intend to sell us out. We know that a vote for the Democratic Party and Kamala Harris is the destruction of our communities and probably the country. So I'm going to show you these clips, and they're going to be interesting. This first clip, I want you to look at this woman and what she says as her debate on CNN, and you can see where this is going. This is for fair use to the 1976 Copyright Act for education and commentary. Check out this clip.
president of it. He literally does that. So what are we calling it? Wow. Okay. I've heard it all, actually.
My hometown, where it closed, it was on the verge of closing in Youngstown, Ohio. It was his policies that took that factory out, and it was the Biden policies that brought it back. It was the Biden policy. It was the Biden policy who brought chips and manufacturing. I think that the problem is that working class people feel like no party is really talking to them, and they're looking for people that they can identify with. And it's not about policy. It is so when you say here in the first segment, and I'm not attacking you on this, but when you say, I don't see her as strong.
Did you hear what she just said? She said that the voters, now this is this black woman saying this. She said the voters are not looking for policy. They're looking for somebody that they can identify with. What voter in his right mind is not looking at policy? This is their race baiting going to the delusional level that she even came out and said that. They're looking for somebody they can identify with. They're not looking for at policy. Is she crazy? And who can identify with a cosplaying chameleon of Hindu Aryan descent, playing like she's a black woman, with Candace Owens unveiling every lie that she's told about her identity? How do we identify with somebody who is claiming a whole racial identity of another race of people? Who identifies with that? Listen to some more.
Okay, but I'm not. I want to have a real conversation with you right now.
Sure, it's my opinion.
What black women do you see as strong, and what black women do you have in?
Harriet Tubman, nigga. He's gonna be the devil. Harriet Tubman.
Oh my god.
Do you want a list?
Do you see Sheila Jackson is strong? Okay.
Do you want a list?
I said my mom was strong on me. She went to the war.
You'd be like, how about
that was a joke?
She really blew me with that one.
No, that was crazy.
Like, we four black men up here, and we wouldn't vote for her. Like, what the hell?
They say we white supremacists.
Yeah. I'm not a damn white supremacist.
White supremacist talking about.
Yeah. Like, what the hell?
White supremacy.
Wow. Hey, no, honestly, what the hell even is a white supremacist talking about?
Nobody, like,
they're not saying that you're not strong. Like, what you do, your job is not an easy job. It's just that we just don't believe that they can run the country.
I just gotta keep it 100. There's certain things that I just.
We said Joe not strong. Are we?
We said Joe's not strong
towards white men.
Yeah, bro. We racist.
We said Joe wasn't strong.
He was weak.
Said Joe wasn't strong.
Yeah, I've actually heard it all for real, guys.
I'm not. I want to.
Hey Jim, I'm just following up about our call last week. Do you have any more?
A real conversation with you right now.
Sure, it's my opinion.
What black women do you see as strong? And what black women do you have in your life?
It's not about race. I know plenty of strong black women. It's not
in your life.
Don't bring up the race.
The reason why I say is that is because we are human beings, and the way we engage with things is by proximity. And if you've ever worked in, you know that it's all about. You're saying go on the factory floors because you want to connect to the human experience.
Of course.
And if you've never really connected to a strong black woman in your life, then maybe you don't actually understand what her strength is and where it comes from.
First of all, Trump with Elon Musk joked about firing people and anti-unions in his
I don't understand.
Where do they get these black women? Her whole argument is based on feminism and based on race. She's ignoring the fact that Kamala Harris is incompetent. So we supposed to vote for an incompetent president because she has melanin? She kind of looks like us? Even though we know that she would be one of the biggest enemies to black men in America, that she will uphold the very white supremacy that this black woman is talking about. Think about the arguments. I'm going to end on this because that was atrocious. Let's go to Obama. Watch Obama now. It's buffering. It always seems to buffer when I'm showing these videos, but it doesn't beat the internet. Check out that.
about y'all, but I'm starting to see a dangerous increase in Black Trump supporters. And I thought...
Look at her language. Look at Big Girl's language. She's starting to see a dangerous increase in Trump supporters. It's dangerous to her. See, Big Girl right here, she probably got a decent paying job to pay enough for her to, you know, to stay on full in her belly. So it's dangerous that Black men will be conservative and vote in their own interests. It's dangerous to them, for real, for real. They think that a patriarchal family with a husband and a wife and a grandfather and the children and a nuclear family, that's dangerous to them. Think about that. That's dangerous to them.
These were outliers, but the way every time I turn around and there's another Black influenceable Black person who is in support of Donald Trump, it's like I'm surrounded. It's like, I'm like, what is going on? Now, I think what happened was that I was into that Fonnie Willis stuff. That's Fonnie Willis stuff that was going on. And I wanted to see how that played out. Now, there is a Black content creator who was explaining all of that, but I didn't want to wait for her name is I'm Not a Lawyer. I didn't want to wait for her every day, because she was covering other stuff, the YSL trial and all that. So I would look up lives while I was at work, and a lot of these people, and I wanted to support Black creators. So I would look for Black people who are covering this, and so many of them are Trump supporters. There are Black Trump supporters everywhere. YouTube, TikTok, everywhere. And I'm like, wait, we were all here 4 years ago. We were all here when the insurrection happened. We were all here when we saw that man incite violence, and these white people took it upon themselves to storm the Capitol. We were all...
She can't even get away from the race baiting. And she keeps talking about January 6th was an insurrection. Do she even know what an insurrection is? How many of y'all have ever looked up the word insurrection? Look up the word insurrection. She has all these Democratic talking points because they have been totally brainwashed to be on that plantation with the Democrats. To the point that they ain't no good. They are no good. They will vote against the interests of the entire community and country for identity politics, just so they can identify on some level. They don't care about policy. They don't care about what's going to happen to the children, the community, the borders, or nothing. Who would follow these women? Who would listen to them? Their whole train of thought is idiotic. But somebody has told them that they are the intelligentsia of our community. They are the smart ones. But listen how she talks. Listen how dumb she sounds.
Here, when that happened, do you think that he's going to let it go this time? Do you think he's going to be told that he can't be reelected after this presidency? Do you think he is not going to incite violence again? We were all here through that whole 4 years. How do we get to a point as Black people that we're going to be in support of a violent man who is trying his best to be a fucking dictator? How have you lost your mind that hard? How have you done it? How have you lost your mind to the point that you're a Black Donald Trump supporter? I know they're out there, but it's so many now. So many people are trying to justify themselves as being Black.
Listen to this. This is a woman who's voting for termination of pregnancy all the way to the 8th month. Gender reassignment for elementary school children. Open borders that are flooding this country with immigrants from every prison in the world. And look at what she's talking about. See, they say that somebody wants to take the right of women to their body. Like government doesn't make men draft at 18. At 18, a man has to register for selective service. And if there's a war, he is forced to go and stand on the front line and fight. Think about that. That's the law. He has to register at 18 for selective service. Then if there's a war, he is drafted and he's sent over to God knows where to fight in behalf of these big mouth people. How does that seem fair? You're going to make an 18-year-old young man register for selective service so that they can defend these idiots who all they want to do is terminate pregnancy. You can't make this up.
Trump supporters, it is insane to me. We were all here. We all saw, we all witnessed him being a president. It's not a good look at all. There's nothing is worth it. A stimulus, nothing is worth it. Nothing is worth this violent man who can't take criticism. No, we can't do it.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about Barack Hussein Obama, okay, who is sounding the alarm on the fact that Kamala Harris is losing a core demographic that Democrats take for granted every single election year, right? They think that they're going to get the black male vote every single year, but that's just simply not the case because a lot of black men are saying enough is enough. I am sick and tired of voting based off identity politics. I'm going to vote based off policy, okay? What is best for me as a working person in this country, not necessarily based off of my race. But all Democrats have is the race hustle, okay? And they just assume that black people are going to line up and vote for Kamala Harris because she is black. However, that's not the case. Everybody knows that's not the case. Everybody knows that Kamala Harris is struggling, and that is why she's rolling out Barack Hussein Obama, right? This is why she's rolling out Barack Obama, because she's struggling really badly, right? Including with her core demographic, which is supposed to be black people, okay? And I can tell you right now, Kamala Harris is struggling with black folks because a lot of black people don't believe that she's black, okay? I mean, when you talk about washing collard greens in a bathtub, I knew at that point this woman is not black at all, okay? She's cosplaying as a black woman, okay? I think Rachel Dolezal is blacker than Kamala Harris at this point. She's owed an apology, okay? Because a lot of people say that she's not black, even though, again, I think that Rachel Dolezal is blacker than Kamala Harris. Regardless, right? She's struggling, okay? She's struggling so heavily that, again, they rolled out Barack Obama to try to help her failing campaign.
And the reason some people think, well, I don't know, I remember that economy when he first came in being pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good, because it was my economy. We had 75 straight months of job growth that I handed over to him. It wasn't something he did. I spent 8 years cleaning up the mess that the Republicans had left me the last time. So just in case everybody has a hazy memory, he didn't do nothing except those big tax cuts. I'm sorry, gentlemen. I've noticed this especially with some men who seem to think Trump's behavior, the bullying and the putting people down, is a sign of strength. And I am here to tell you that is not what real strength is. It never has been. Real strength is about working hard and carrying a heavy load without complaining. Real strength is about taking responsibility for your actions and telling the truth even when it's inconvenient. Real strength is about helping people who need it and standing up for those who can't always stand up for themselves. That is what we should want for our daughters and for our sons, and that is what I want to see in a president of the United States of America.
See, now you heard that. Right? Barack Obama.
So we gonna forget that he bailed out everybody but the working class when he was in there. And his main objective in office was same-gender marriage. He was the president, especially for the LGBTQ community. That's why he raised the flag over the White House. This is where Kamala performed the first same-gender marriage. This is what they are about. Nothing else. Nothing else. They're not even offering black men anything else. So you mean to tell me that you expect black men to vote against their own self-interest, vote against the Bible, vote against the Word of God, vote against Christ in support of radical liberalism? And you bring out this tether who cosplayed as a black man? And did more for every other nationality in the world, other than the very community and sector he claimed to be a part of. I see they really think we stupid at this point.
Says that he takes credit for Trump's great economy, right? So again, you have Obama acknowledging that Trump's economy was great, which everybody knows. But he says Trump ain't do nothing. He ain't do nothing except them tax cuts. And I'm sitting here like, nigga, please. That's what I was thinking, right? Real talk. That's what I was thinking the whole time. When this dude was speaking, I was like, nigga, please stop. Stop with the cap. Stop lying. Because that's what he's doing. You're lying. Okay, those tax cuts that also went to the middle class. Okay, which, Democrats conveniently leave out, right? I wonder, does Obama support extending the Trump tax cuts, or does he support letting them expire, right? Since the tax cuts were just for the rich, right? Which is what Democrats say. But for whatever reason, nobody ever asked these Democrats, okay, since the tax cuts were just for the rich, okay, do you support extending these tax cuts, right? Do you support letting them expire? That would be a great question for any of the Democrats, right? But for whatever reason, the liberal media never asked the Democrats these questions. But what you're seeing here is desperation. That's what it is, right? He's coming out here, he's gaslighting, he's lying, and trying to take credit for Trump's great economy, right? When we all know that Obama's economy was struggling, okay? Before Obama got in, GDP was at 1.6%. Trump gets into office, it shoots up to 2.3, 2.4, 2.5% consistently, at least until COVID, because Trump's policies, right? His policies, his tax cuts that benefited everybody. Again, I love how Democrats try to act like tax cuts are such a bad thing, right? It's so terrible. Tax cuts, terrible, right? This is what they do. When those tax cuts stimulated the hell out of the economy with damn near no inflation, okay, you had income inequality decreasing, home ownership among the poorest people also increasing, okay, black unemployment at a historic low, right? People's net worth was increasing. Like, people were thriving under the Trump economy, right? And this is why Obama wants to take credit for it, okay? But the real reason that Kamala Harris has rolled out Barack Obama in Pennsylvania is because Kamala Harris is struggling with the core demographic, a key demographic of the Democrat Party, black men, right? Black men, okay? And Obama admitted this during his little visit here, okay, in which he says that, hey, it's the brother's fault that Kamala Harris doesn't have as much momentum. She doesn't have as much support as he had, okay? So he's essentially admitting that Kamala Harris is struggling, and he's essentially blaming the brothers, right, the black men, for why Kamala Harris is struggling as much as she is right now. Take a look.
Communities is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college.
Look how he's lying. Look how he's lying. You have somebody who grew up like you. First of all, she grew up with a red dot on her head. Indian, Southeast Asian. She grew up in Canada. So how she grew up like me? She's a Southeast Asian. Origins of Jamaica. Lived in Canada and San Francisco. Been Indian most of her life until she decides to run for president. How is she like us? How does she identify with us? She only thinks we're stupid. She thinks that we'll fall for the race baiting. She wants Americans who are black to feel like they are a permanent victim class and blame everything on racism. This is racist. That's racist. We forget about capitalism, materialism, globalism, imperialism, because they want you as a black man, just pay attention to racism. Don't worry about that capitalism over there. Don't worry about that materialism. Don't worry about globalism. Just worry about racism. Worry about if you can use that water fountain and use the same toilet. Worry about wanting to sit at the same dining table with your enemy. Martin Luther King even knew he was wrong in his ideology. They coming with the same tired stuff, and they just disappointed the black men ain't going for it.
Understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences. He's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land.
Governor Walz, according to Politico, is going to be going out on a mentor, literally a tour of media to appeal to men.
How can Tampon Tim, a governor who mandated tampons in the boys' bathroom and termination of pregnancy all up to the 8th month, how can he appeal to men? We can't get past, why did you make it mandatory to put tampons in the boys' bathroom? Let's explain that to me. See, that's what J.D. Vance should have asked him. Explain to me, why was it necessary for you to mandate putting tampons in the boys' bathroom? Let's start there. Because if that was a policy that you was for and supported, what other policies are you with that we don't know about yet? Tampon Tim appealing to men, it's like walking a cat. You see every day somebody walking a dog, that's natural. What does it look like when you see people actually just walking cats now? That's what it looks like.
Appeal to the needs of the voters. And so when I was a delegate for President Obama in both of his elections in Ohio, right now the vice president is down 11 points in Ohio, even though I fully expect President Trump to take Ohio as he did twice, but to be down 11 points compared to President Biden, that is a problem. But this other issue I want to bring up is a problem too. Why are black men being lectured to? Why are black men being belittled in ways that no other voting group? Now, a lot of love for former President Obama. But for him to single out black men is wrong. And some of the black men that I have talked to have their reasons why they want to vote a different way. And even if some of us may not like that, we have to respect it. So unless President Barack Obama is going to go out and lecture every other group of men from other identity groups, my message for Democrats is don't bring it here to black men who, by and large, don't vote much differently from black women. And why, as a politician, we should be trying to get all voters to vote. And hopefully there are a few good men out there who do care about the stripping away of some of women's bodily autonomy. But this is wrong for President Obama. It is a wrong course for the Harris-Walz campaign to lay at...
Now, let me say this about bodily autonomy again. Why do a young man, soon as he turned 18, have to go and register for selective military service so that he could be drafted into a war, flown all the way to a whole nother country to fight? What about his bodily autonomy? What rights do men have? What if, we got to stop the race baiting and the misogynistic language, because it's played out. It's not working. It's not working. Just say that to a large sector of the community, termination of pregnancy is all they care about. They don't care about the economy, school system, jobs, the border, nothing. They just want to have the right to terminate pregnancies. Okay, nobody's taking your rights for that. That's what you want to do. That's between you and God. But you can't make other Christians and Muslim men vote for something that they know is biblically and historically immoral. Period. You can't make black men vote against God, vote against Scripture, vote against Christianity. You can't make them do that. And the very fact that that's what you want to do is Luciferian. It's Luciferic. It's wicked.
The feet of black men when they have their reasons. In 2020, the vice president was labeled a cop, as we know.
But do you think, sorry to interrupt you, Nina, but do you think he's right that one of the reasons is because they don't like the idea of...
It might be some... Listen, black men are socialized in the same society as any other man. So yes, is misogyny maybe a part of it? But again, is President Obama and is the Harris-Walz campaign going to lecture other male groups in the same way that they're lecturing?
This is not just about...
I don't think so.
It's not just about Pennsylvania. It's not just about men. It sounds like there's a concern that there's a broad problem for Vice President Harris with the blue wall. It's based...
Thicker, fuller hair starts with Hims. Discover sprays.
I'm going to end there. Shout out to Greg at the Black Conservative Perspective. But you can see what I'm talking about. Listen to their language. And then if they have a black man up there to represent the community, he's going to be weak, watered down, and suspect. Probably a little zesty, sassy, all that. Because those are the only types over there left on the Democratic plantation. Facts. Facts. Even when they get in your comments on a channel and they might be liberal and not like what you're saying, the main thing they come off with is emotional, feminine energy. Race baiting, misogynistic, name calling. Get out your feelings. We not voting for that Indian. Period. Y'all gonna definitely have to steal an election. You will not be able to win it. No, don't listen to MSNBC. Don't listen to CNN. They're lying so that they can actually help with a steal. We're not voting for Kamala. Under no circumstance, no shape, form, or fashion are we voting for that idiot. Sorry. Well, that's all I got for you this morning on this Friday morning. It's Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit. Support the nonprofit, Detroit's Black Thought and Act Collective. The Cash App is in the description. A salute to all patriots. Keep your head on a swivel. Peace. Like, share, and subscribe.